The speaker of today's session will be Mr. Dhruv Nath, and a more formal introduction about him will be given by Mr. Tejinder, who will be hosting our today's session. We also have with ourselves Dr. Ashish Sani and Mr. J.K. Sharma. So I will be giving you all a brief introduction about Mr. Tejinder Jasal. Mr. Tejinder Jasal is the director of Pilot Technology Limited, and he is also a part of CNET IIT Ropar. So now I would like to request Mr. Dr. Ashish Sani sir to say a few words.
Yeah, hello everyone. Hello Dr. Dhruv. Hello Mr. Tejinder. So it's a great honor to have you all here. And Mr. Jasal had, very apt. He could connect us with Dr. Dhruv, and we were actually, we are always on the search for looking for funding for our startups, and it's also it's a very hard nut to crack. Even with our resources, it's almost impossible for us to connect with people. Even if you are connected to people, nobody wants to give. When it comes to giving money, it's not easy to even get 1 rupee from anyone. So that's how I think Dr. Dhruv, with his experience, would be able to enlighten us and our students and prospective future entrepreneurs on how to approach this single most important factor. Actually, the company's existence depends only on how much money you have in store and how much you have something in future cash flows. So, okay, thank you, Jitendra, and let's have Dr. Dhruv online.
Now, Mr. J.K. Sharma sir, please share a few words from your side also.
Thank you, Jitendra, but I think we should not waste time. I welcome Dr. Dhruv Nath to this talk, and I think we should give the maximum time to the host to listen from him. Dr. Sani has already shared the thought process. So I will request Dr. Dhruv to kindly continue.
Sure, sir. Sure. So now I will be handing over the stage to Mr. Tejinder. Please go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everybody. And good to have Ashish. Dhruv, just a quick introduction. Professor Ashish Sani is the faculty in charge of the TBIF, which is the technology incubator at IIT Ropar. And Mr. J.K. Sharma is the CEO of TBIF. And it's always very interesting discussing things with both of them. Ashish is very active, and Mr. Sharma is also very active. He's been leading this TBIF for 3 years now, Sharmaji?
Sir, more than 3 years.
More than 3 years now. Okay, so for the students, I would just like to say that, look, I'm going to, on your behalf, pick whatever little hair is left on Professor Dhruv Nath's head and get him to, so you will try and make this an interactive session. Dhruv Nath, okay, he is my junior from college, one batch my junior. And after graduating, after doing his BTech in electrical, he joined the PhD program in computer science directly after BTech. He was one of those rare individuals from IIT Delhi who get this opportunity from moving directly from graduation to a doctorate program, skipping the master's in between. So I can vouch for his intelligence. And after doing his PhD, he joined NIIT. NIIT, for those who are not aware of what it is, was a spin-off of HCL, Hindustan Computers, and it was the first organized computer education institutes in the country. And it was started by another one of our seniors from IIT, 1974 graduate, Rajendra
72
Pawar.
actually. 72.
72, yeah, 72, Rajendra Pawar, with his friend. So they were both working for HCL, and this was spun off as a training division for HCL. and it went on to do a lot of very interesting things. There's an experiment that was done. It was called the computer in the wall. Remember Dhruv Sugata Mitra?
Yes, hole in the wall. Yeah.
A hole in the wall. Okay. So where they placed a computer in a wall in a village somewhere, and the children could come, and they found how children were able to use it. So these were the kind of activities that were being done by NIT other than the regular training courses. Dhruvnath was with them for about 19 years, and he rose to become one of the VPs. And then he went off to teach. And he started teaching at the MDI Gurgaon, the Management Development Institute in Gurgaon. And he's a freshly retired professor. More important as part of his activities is his role as a mentor to startups and as an angel investor. He has been part of the lead Angels Network of India, and recently he's been appointed as a director of that thing. And his specialization lies in angel investing. Of course, he will talk to you more about angel investing later. And he has recently published, it was his second book, I think. Yeah. It's called his fourth book. Startup Funding. He's going to formally show you that book now.
That one.
Funding Your Startup and Other Nightmares. It's a pretty interesting book. I hope to be able to read it very soon. Okay, so now the way we've structured this, along with Dhruv and I have structured this entire talk in the following manner. We're going to break it up into stages. And while we are talking, we would encourage you to ask questions. So maybe in the chat box, you can write down your questions. And maybe Jitendra, what you could do is, if the moment you see a question, you just tap that yes, there's a question, and we'll take it up either during the session or at the end of the session. Right. So
Sure,
let's
sir.
let's begin. So Dhruv, what we are going to be talking about in today's session is evaluating a startup, because you're going to be looking at investing in the startup. So how do you evaluate the startup? What are the things that you look at? Second, how important is the team when you're looking at the funding activities? And finally, a whole session on how you go about raising funds as a startup. So the first question that we start off with, Dhruv, is how do you evaluate a startup when you are approached as for investment as an angel?
Okay, thanks a lot, TP, and thanks to everybody at IIT Ropar. I must also tell you that TP and I were together at IIT Delhi, well, 1 year apart. And you guys do not know, but we used to have a intra-IIT quiz competition. And the winner of that quiz competition was called Brain of IIT. Guess who was the brain of IIT over there? TPS Jassal. Okay. So I don't think you... Yaar, Sharma kyun raha hai, yaar? It's an achievement, yaar. Sharma kyun raha hai?
अब ऐसे ही है, मतलब मेरा नेचर है.
अच्छा. Chal, theek hai. Okay. Anyway, thanks everybody. So what I thought I would do, and TPS agreed with me, is I will quickly share with you something from the book, right? And the book I just showed you, Funding a Startup and Other Nightmares. And essentially what we have covered in that book is the question that TPS asked, which is, what do startups have to do? What do they look at if they want to be successful? Number one. Number two, what do investors look at when they decide to invest in a startup, right? So I will talk about that, and I'll talk about it through one story, which is again picked up from the book. And TP, you've heard the story about 3-4 times. So it's not new for you, but for the other guys, hopefully it will be new. I have other stories also, by the way, which I can tell you separately.
Sure.
Okay. So let me just quickly share. So I will call this the persistent framework for successful startups. And persistent is the framework that we have created. Just to give you a little more background, I have been an angel investor for the last approximately 7 years. And we have analyzed a lot, we've met a lot of startups, we've invested in some, we have mentored many of them. And what we found is there are a lot of things which are common across those startups which succeeded. And similarly, there are a lot of things which are common across those startups which failed, right? And based on that, we have created something called a persistent framework, which we use to evaluate startups. So it's useful both if you have a startup and also for the investor before he invests, all right? So I'll take you through one story, and from there I'll try and extract the persistent framework, after which I think we can get into question answer mode, right? Too many PPTs will become boring. So this is the book, by the way. So the story which I'll share with you is called Squirrel, right? And incidentally, this is not a spelling mistake. The founder wanted to call it Squirrel. So, if you were to sit in a park and watch little squirrels in action, you will find something very interesting. You'll find that they locate food. So they locate nuts, they locate berries, all kinds of food. Sometimes they eat them, but sometimes they save them. And why do they save them? Basically, because they know there will be a time when food will not be available, right? So, for example, in India, in the monsoons, you will not get food because it's raining all over. Or in the Western world, when it is snowbound, for 2 or 3 months, you will not get food, right? So they need to save. Now, if you look at human beings also need to save, right? Not food, but money. Okay. The fundamental problem with saving is what? There are far too many temptations out there, right? So, for example, if you have if Royal Enfield comes out with a new bike, then, I'm sure half of you guys would jump at the opportunity and buy it, right? And therefore, your savings can go to hell, isn't it? Or if there is a new movie, I'm sure each of you with your girlfriend or boyfriend will go and watch that movie and have burgers and popcorn. 1,500 rupees gone. Okay, so that's the problem. There are far too many temptations, and therefore saving is very difficult. The discipline is not easy. So, how people save, to understand that, I'll just take you back to your grandmother's time. Okay, and during that time, and even today in certain households, you have something that you call a gullak. Yeah, and this gullak will have a little slot in which you can put in change, coins. So let's say your grandmother went and buy sabzi, and she bought sabzi for, let us say, 9 rupees 80 paise. Okay. And she gave a 10 rupee note to the sabzi wala, and what she got back was 20 paise, right? That 20 paise goes into this slot in the gullak. Correct. And therefore it is saved because you cannot open the gullak. You can only break it. Right. So every time she buys anything, that little change which is left over goes into the gullak, and therefore that habit of saving is inculcated. What you must understand is, the reason why this works, fundamental reason why this works, is that it is painless. When you're spending 9 rupees 80 paise, spending an extra 20 paise doesn't hurt you. It's painless, right? And that 20 paise is what is saved. Correct? So it's only the leftover change. So what the founder of Squirrel decided was, he said, we will automate this gullak, and I'll explain how. So Squirrel creates an app, right? They've created an app, and you can download this app. I think as of now it's available on Android, but very soon it will be available on iOS also. So what this app does is, every time you spend money, correct? Every time you spend money digitally, which means through a credit card, debit card, UPI, Paytm, online banking, whatever, it doesn't matter what. What happens is that you get an SMS, correct? The app has been given permission by you at the time you downloaded and registered the app. It has been given permission to access all these SMSs. Okay. And therefore, it knows how much you spent. Now, you must remember one thing. Obviously, you will also get other SMSs. So, for example, you take the example of either Jitendra or Ishan. I'm sure they get messages from their girlfriends, right? Ishan, मिलता है? या WhatsApp भेजती है?
सर क्या ही बोलो
ओए होए, वो शर्मा गया तो मतलब मैसेज आता है. अगर शर्मा गया तो मतलब मैसेज आता है. तो ऐसा है. Please remember, Squirrel has absolutely zero interest in Ishan's love life. वो लड़े, वो गर्लफ्रेंड उसकी रहे ना रहे, steady हो, it doesn't matter a damn to Squirrel. All that they're concerned about is how much Ishan has spent, or how much Jitendra has spent, or how much Kavish has spent. Correct? So what they do is at the end of the week, they total up all the expenses that the user has spent, and then just like the Gullak, right? What they do is they round it up to the nearest 100. Okay. So for example, suppose you have spent during the week 1,460 rupees, right? It adds 40 rupees to make it a round figure of 1,500, and that 40 rupees is saved by Squirrel. Okay. And by the way, this has one huge advantage over the original Gullak, because this is automatic. You can't say no. It happens, right? Whereas in the Gullak, your grandmother could have cheated and said, "Nahi, aaj nahi save karna, kal karungi," right? But here you can't cheat unless, of course, you withdraw your permission that you've given to Squirrel. So this is how the Squirrel app works. Now, what I must explain is, please remember, no customer will ever pay Squirrel for helping them to save. But what Squirrel decided was, we will get the savers on board, and we'll do it free of charge. There's no cost at all. However, after that, we will offer them other financial products and we will charge for them, right? So things like insurance, things like loans, things like investment. By the way, in today's environment, Squirrel also helps people doing things like tax planning, and also in managing your finances. Okay, planning and managing your finances. And these services they charge for. So that is how they make money. All right. So how they get customers is by getting them onto the saving bandwagon, and how they make money is by offering them additional products. Okay. So this is the Squirrel story. What I'll do now is I'll come to the persistent framework, which using which I will analyze Squirrel, and using which you guys can also analyze your startups. Okay. So persistent is a framework which basically means that every letter of this word, right, stands for something. And if you look at the first letter, that's P, and that stands for problem. Essentially what that means is, if you have if you want your startup to be successful, you have to be solving a problem for somebody. If you don't solve a problem, why the hell would he come to you, right? You have to solve a problem for him, isn't it? Fortunately, Squirrel was, because they were offering saving option, and they were offering other products like insurance, like personal financial planning, like tax saving, etc., 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 right? So they were solving a problem. Second, there has to be an earnings model, which means not only do you have to solve a problem for your customer, but equally important, the guy has to be willing to pay you. Otherwise, you don't have a business, isn't it? Fortunately here, while nobody would pay them for saving, they would definitely pay them for the other financial services. So they had a good earnings model. Next, size of the market. Now here, you must realize, why are you creating a startup? You're not creating a startup to stagnate at 15 lakhs revenue or 20 lakhs revenue or 30 lakh revenue, right? You're creating a startup because you want it to grow, right? And become large, large 5 crores, 10 crores, 50 crores, maybe 100 crores. But you can't grow large unless the market in which you're operating is large enough, correct? So the size of the market has to be very large for a successful startup. By the way, even investors want a large size of the market. Otherwise, their investment will not grow either. Correct? So here, the kind of people Squirrel was aiming at was essentially the Indian middle class, and that's a huge market. That's about 35-40 crores, right? And it's bigger than any country's population in the world except for China, correct? So it's a huge market. There is absolutely no problem. However, there is one issue which you must understand. Sometimes, the market that you're operating in is very crowded. And what that means is that market already has other players, other competitors, and sometimes much bigger competitors than you. And it is not recommended that you get into a crowded market because, you'll find it very difficult to compete with existing entrenched players unless you offer something different. Correct? So if you look at this, financial services online is offered by so many players. Right? It's a very crowded market. You've got guys like Zerodha, you've got Policy Bazaar, you've got Paisa Bazaar, you've got Paytm Money, you've got ET Money, you've got all these guys, and they are big, right? So how the hell will Squirrel survive? So what we recommend is, if the market is crowded, particularly if it is crowded with large players, you should identify a large enough subset of that market, right? Your engineers, you understand the term subset. Subset of the market which is non-crowded, but it has to be large enough, right? So what these guys did was, and by the way, I'll call that subset a niche. So you identify a large enough non-crowded niche. So what these guys did was they realized that, if you look at people above the age of about 30, they are already into financial services, right? They already save, they already invest, they already take insurance, they take loans and so on. But if you look at college students or students who've just passed out of college, maybe till the age of 25, 27, 28, they have not yet got into all this. And all competitors, the competitors are not aiming at such people. They're only aiming at the older guys. So what the founders decided was, okay, we will aim at youngsters and only youngsters. And over time, as these youngsters grow, they will be investing more and more. They'll be taking bigger and bigger loans. They'll be taking bigger and bigger insurance policies. So our business will grow. But our entry is through youngsters, which is a non-crowded market. Okay. So by the way, all of you, college students, all of you IIT students are potential customers for Squirrel. And I would suggest after this session is over, maybe you can try and download Squirrel or go to their website and see if you're interested. It's a good option, right? Okay, so I've covered so far 4 parts of this problem, right? Problem, earnings model, size of market, and niche. One thing you must remember is something that we call scalability. Okay, very, very important. Your size of the market may be very large, but what is equally important is how rapidly you can scale, grow within that market. How rapidly, right? Why is this important? Because if you don't scale rapidly, you will have a lot of other, you must remember one thing. In India, there are 135 crore people. Please never be under the false impression that you are the only guy with a bright idea. There'll be lots of other people with the same idea, many other people with a similar business. So if you don't grow rapidly, the other guy will grow rapidly and eat into your market share, potentially kill you. Correct? So therefore, the need for rapid growth, which is what I call scalability. Just to take or let me quickly ask a question, since you guys are bright young guys. How scalable do you think Squirrel is? Let's make this interactive. How scalable is Squirrel? Is it? Yeah.
It's highly scalable, sir.
Yeah, I think Jitendra has.
I think that it's quite scalable, because if we are first users will be the youngsters, and India is quite a India. Let's say we are talking about India, then India is quite a young country. We have 50-60% youngster in our country, so I think it's quite scalable.
Jitendra, so first of all, I'll
Yeah.
give you chocolate. Okay, for the answer. But please remember, you're talking of size of the market. You're saying the number of youngsters is very large. My question is, how quickly can you grow within that size? Right? So scalability and size of the market are two different things. How scalable is this? Is this a scalable business?
Sir, I think if they try to somewhat, rather than saving that change amount invested, then it could be quickly scalable, because now many people are becoming, especially teenagers, are becoming aware of personal finance. So instead of, and investing for them like is a difficult process. So instead of saving that money, if that change can be invested into various stocks, then it can like catch up much more attention in the audience, I think.
Okay, okay, good. You're right. You're right.
Uh,
You also,
uh,
Siddharth, you also get a chocolate. Yeah. And
Dhruv, I just wanted to the definition of scalable.
Ah.
I think if you could just mention that
so
the size of the market is clear,
yeah.
because scalable probably is, may not, the way we understand, may not be very clear to the youngsters.
So size of the market talks about how big the market is, which is in this case youngsters, which may be 10 crores or 12 crores, right? Scalability means how quickly can you grow within that 12 crores? How quickly can you get more and more and more customers within that? So scalability is speed of growth. Size of the market is total size, right? So that's the difference. Both of them go hand in hand, but they're different, right? So just to give you a quick input, just to give you guys a quick input. So by the way, Siddharth also gets a chocolate. TP, I had left 2 cartons of chocolates with you, right? So please pass them on.
Sure, I will.
खुद मत खाना यार.
नहीं नहीं, मेरे दांत वैसे ही टूट रहे हैं, so
अच्छा.
okay, go ahead.
So ऐसा है. Let me just, let me give you the example of Infosys. All of you are familiar with Infosys. How scalable is the Infosys business?
Sir, actually, we have also a response from Satvik in the audience. He is saying that about the scalability of Squirrel. He's saying that it will probably go down in next 3 years because it is no different from other fintech startups. So if there is any chance of it's going ahead, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. You also get a chocolate, Satvik. I'll come to that issue a little later. I'm basically talking about how quickly they can grow, potentially, right? So, look at Infosys. Let us say today, Infosys' revenue, okay, whatever their revenue is, and let's say they have 1 lakh employees, okay. Now, suppose they want to double that revenue. Their revenue is entirely based on the number of people they have, because for each person they get X dollars per man month, correct? So if they want to double the revenue, they have to double the manpower. And the moment you have to double the manpower, you have to double the infrastructure, the number of buildings, the laptops, and so on and so forth, right? So Infosys is a highly manpower dependent business, which is very tough. It is very tough to grow rapidly. They have grown 20-25% per year, but that's not rapid. When I talk about rapid growth, I'm talking of 100%, 200%, 500% per year, right? That's a scalable business. So the problem is Infosys is a manual business, whereas if you look at Squirrel, it's a pure digital business. A pure digital business is very highly scalable because to grow the revenue, you don't need to add manpower. All you need to add is maybe server capacity and bandwidth, correct? That's all you need. Right? And maybe a few more guys to do the marketing. That's it. And maybe a few more guys in the call center. Whereas Infosys, to double the revenue, needs to double the manpower. So Squirrel is a highly scalable business. And this is one more thing that the investors look for, the ability to grow rapidly. Are we okay? Okay, now one important issue which somebody mentioned, I think Satvik mentioned, risks to the business, right? And obviously every business will have risks, and the biggest risk is the risk of competition, right? So if you look at Squirrel, obviously there are lots of people who can compete with these guys. And incidentally, one big way in which you can beat competition or keep out competition is by having something that we call an entry barrier. So entry barrier means what? This is my business. I have to do something within this business which prevents the next guy, the competitor, from entering the same business as me, eating into my market share and potentially killing me. Okay, that's what we call an entry barrier. It's a barrier to prevent the entry of your competition into your kind of business. And incidentally, one of the ideal kinds of entry barrier is if you have some kind of innovative solution, right, which is copyable or tough to copy, right? So for example, suppose you have a product which has been developed over, let's say 2 years. Now that's tougher to copy. It will take your competitor that much time to develop the product. Or if you have a patent, then legally you are given certain protection, correct? So if you look at the entry barrier in the case of Squirrel, actually the entry barrier, I think Satvik rightly mentioned it, is not great. It's not great because it's an easily copyable business. However, over time, what tends to happen
Hello.
is trust and brand. Sorry, just one. Let me just complete this. So over time, what happens is trust and brand, right? You build trust, you build a brand. Over time, that becomes a bit of an entry barrier because then people know you. Your friend is already doing his personal finance with Squirrel. He's very happy. He trusts them. He says, "Boss, tu bhi aaja," and you therefore go. So over time, trust and brand becomes some kind of entry barrier, except that it's not a huge entry barrier. So, this is one of the negatives in the Squirrel model. It is not a very high entry barrier. Therefore, it is very, very important for them to scale up rapidly, because when you scale, your entry barrier becomes better and better. Okay. And incidentally, often the entry barrier builds up over time, like I just showed you. Okay, somebody had a question. Maybe I'll come to that question a little later. Let me just finish this part and you can ask me that question later. It came up in chat and I think I've lost that chat now. Anyway, let's ask that question a little later. Okay, so I have talked about 8 of the issues in the persistent model. Then, of course, very important, the question which my friend TPS asked is the team. The team incidentally starts with the founders. And there is a saying that we have, if you have an average business, but a great founder and a great team, chances are they will figure out a way to make it work. Okay, they will pivot, they'll change the business model, make it work. But if you have a great business, but an average team, it's almost guaranteed to fail. And I've seen many of them, including some of my investments. All right. So team is very, very important. Finally, final proof. And I will say this in Hindi. Final proof is dhanda kitna. Basically means what? You may have the best business model, huge size of the market, very scalable, a great entry barrier. You have several patents. What's the ultimate thing is paisa aa raha hai ki nahi? Customer aa rahe hain ki nahi? Month on month, customer बढ़ रहे हैं कि नहीं? Revenue बढ़ रहा है कि नहीं? That is important. Okay. So traction is the ultimate proof. So if you look at this now, this is our persistent framework. And you can see that each of the terms I've introduced, the first letter refers to one of the letters in the persistent model. But I want to mention 2 more things. Number 1, persistent is also an English word, right? Which all of you know. And that's equally important. It's very much a part of the persistent framework. In a startup or any business of your own, and you can ask TPS, because he has worked on his business for how many years, TP? 40 years, 35 years?
No, yeah, from 95. 25 years now.
25 years. Boss, there are ups and downs, and there are probably more downs than ups. You've got to keep on and on and on at it. You can't give up. You can't say, nahi boss, bahut ho gaya. Aaj main sounga. Nahi boss. You have to keep on and on at it. And that persistence is as important as the persistent framework. Okay. Finally, before I end the PPT component, what do investors look for? And actually, if you think about it, so let me ask you guys, what do investors look for? Again, let's throw it open to you guys. Your bright young IIT students, tell me. And chocolate milenge. Yeah.
ज़्यादा भी मत फेंक देना, ध्रुव.
क्या चीज?
There is a response.
Distribute कर देना chocolates.
यार मैंने तुमको दे दी है. Now it is up to you to distribute.
Sir,
Okay, sure.
there are responses in chat.
Yeah.
So Yashwardhan is saying team. Tia Jain is saying stability.
बढ़िया.
Then we have a response from Prakhar. He's saying growth.
Correct.
From Aman, it's return of investment to the
Badhiya.
investor. From Kritarth, it is rate of growth
Okay.
of the
बहुत
company.
बहुत बढ़िया.
And there are another responses: profit, return. Yeah.
Wonderful. So everybody who spoke gets a chocolate each, right? And incidentally, if you combine all the feedback that people have given, you come up with the same model, isn't it? Earnings model is what? पैसा आ रहा है कि नहीं, profit बन रहा है कि नहीं. That is your earnings model, right? Scalability is growth. Okay. Team, somebody mentioned, right? Somebody mentioned what? Innovation, I think. So innovation is there. So ultimately, you must remember the investor and the founder, they have the same aims. They want to create a successful company, successful, rapid growing company with an entry barrier which keeps out competition, which is able to grow rapidly and at some stage generate a profit. Right? So they have the same purpose in mind. So when we as angel investors look for investments, this is the model we use. And by the way, even if somebody does not use exactly the same words, ultimately it's the same things they look at, right? Any investor, irrespective of where he is, and this is not just true of India, US, Germany, anyway, it doesn't matter, right? Ultimately, these are the things he typically would be looking at. So I think with that, I will end this part. Just hold on. Let me just stop sharing. Yeah. So now we are back to seeing everybody's faces and names. And maybe now, TP, if you're okay, we can make it question based.
Yeah, because now there are only two things left. One, a quick word on the importance of the team.
Okay.
Or rather, I would call it as, because we agreed that yes, the team is important.
Yeah.
The role of the leader.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
So,
So there, sometimes what happens is that two things get mixed up as far as the founder's role is concerned. One is productivity, and the second is effectiveness. So when you look at a leader, what becomes more important, his productivity or his effectiveness as a leader? So let's take this first and then we'll move on to the next part.
okay. So let me just do one thing. Before I get into details, let me give you one more story, because, you know, in the last so many years, I've got lots of stories. आप 6 घंटे कंटिन्यू करो, मेरे पास 6 घंटे की कहानियां हैं. तो ऐसा है, I'll give you an example, and I very specifically thought of this example because you guys are IITians, you guys are engineers, right? And I will tell you typically what happens to the leader, and the leader is the founder, right? So what happens to the leader if he has a technical background? And this is sometimes the case. So the example I'll share with you, by the way, we are from Lead Angels Network, which is one of the leading angel networks in the country. There are others. So Indian Angel Network, which is the oldest and probably the largest. Then you have Mumbai Angels, you have Chennai Angels, Hyderabad Angels. So there are about 6, 7 big ones, and there are a lot of chotus as well. Incidentally, Chandigarh
Yeah.
Angels, but that's a small network.
Yes, Chandigarh Angels is also there.
I believe Jammu and Kashmir Angel bhi aa gaya. Somebody from there contacted me a few days back. Okay, so you know, we have our monthly meeting. So I'll tell you how the angel network works, because you were talking about funding, right? See, when you are looking for funding, initially, apart from your friends and family and your own sources, you will go to angel investors, which is the first stage of external funding. Now, the point is, you cannot go to each individual angel investor because you don't know who the hell they are. Correct? So what you will do is, you will go to an angel network, and the angel network is like a club. It has many members, and each member is an angel investor. So the club, the angel network, will ask you to make a presentation to all these members, and then the members decide किस में पैसा डालना है, किस में नहीं डालना है. Correct? So that's how an angel network works. Very, very, very briefly. Now, before COVID, of course, we used to have our meetings in physical conference rooms. Now, of course, it is on Zoom or WebEx. So we had one group of very bright young engineers, two engineers, very bright guys. And they came and made a presentation to us. And incidentally, we call that a pitch, pitching your startup to get funding. So they made a presentation to us, angel investors, and they said, we have created a product which can permit a waterless urinal. Okay, waterless urinal. Now, I'll just give you the context. 3 months before this, Prime Minister Modi, right, in his Independence Day speech, I think in 2014, had announced Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. Correct? Yaad hai? Ab problem ye hai, the Prime Minister has given such priority to building toilets. He said, look, we'll build 2 crore toilets. Pani kahan hai? Most of the places where you'll build toilets, particularly in the rural areas, there's no running water, and therefore, how will you keep your toilets clean? How will you maintain them? Now, suddenly these guys, these young, bright engineers had come and said, we have a solution. It's a waterless urinal, right? Today, by the way, this has become somewhat common, but at that time, it was very uncommon. Now, suddenly, you can imagine the reaction. Oh, TP, you're having chai. I'm also having chai. I think. Unlike IIT, we can't go back to those shops.
The dhaba in the back.
Ah.
नहीं, वो मैं इसलिए मैंने कहा चॉकलेट तो मैंने लेना नहीं है तो
चाय पी लो ठीक है. So we were super excited कि boss क्या opportunity है, right? Now we said, okay, great, wonderful. Of course, we will take 1 month to evaluate your business in detail, because you're asking for 1 crore and a half. Obviously, we can't put in that money without evaluating you. So we'll evaluate you. But very, very, very important, please remember, how will you market this? How will you sell this? Oh, sir, we'll appoint distributors. And that makes sense because, ultimately it has to be sold through sanitary shops, hardware shops, etc., etc. So we said, wonderful. So fata appoint karo, because you can't lose this opportunity. Prime Minister ne bola, and it's huge. It's just staring at you. So we gave them a month, actually month and a half, and they came back in a month and a half, and we were all set to invest. And they walked in, and they were looking very, very excited, these 2 students. We said, Kya ho gaya? Why are you looking so happy? Oh, sir, sir, now we are working on a female version of the same thing. So this is what we did. Sir pakad liya humne. Hang on, yaar, what happened to the male version? Haan, sir, wo bhi hai, sir. But what happened to the distributors? You had to, sir, wo karenge, sir. 3 mahine de do humko. In 3 months, we'll have the female version ready. Then we'll appoint the distributor. At a stroke, all of us angels decide, yahan invest nahi karna hai. Because these are very good, solid tech guys. Very good, solid tech guys. Good designers, but they have no business sense. No business sense at all. So in fact, what we told them, which didn't happen finally, so we never invested in this company. What we told them was, look, if you can get a co-founder who has business sense, strong business sense, and he can take this business forward rather than just a product. Because right now you've converted this into an R&D project. We don't want to invest in an R&D project. Usme dhanda kahan hai? Correct? So, the point I'm trying to make out of this is, the team is extremely important, starting with the founder. You have the wrong team, you're in deep trouble. You have the right team, you're in absolutely good shape. And here you had a bright young set of tech guys. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is that you're all bright tech guys. I hope you have business sense. If you don't, please make sure you get a co-founder who does. Right? So that's one story. I have another story. TP, do we have time for one more story on the same lines? Team?
Yeah, I think we have we have time.
चल ठीक है. मैं प्रोफेसर हूं ना, मेरे को बोलने का शौक है. कोई मेरे को रोक नहीं सकता.
हम स्टूडेंट हैं, हमें सुनने का शौक है.
अरे
नहीं है एक्चुअली.
नहीं भाई साहब, स्टूडेंट हो, सोने का शौक है. मेरी क्लास में लोग सोते हैं.
Okay, a word of caution. Okay, you can take as long as you want, but I certainly do not want my students to be sleeping. I want them to learn from what you're telling them.
Correct.
Okay.
No, but then the only way to guarantee that is if they show us their faces. Right now, everybody is hidden.
Don't worry, we'll get them once you finish your
चल ठीक है
presentation.
बेटा
We'll tell them to.
हाँ नहीं जितेंद्र तो जागा हुआ है और एक और कोई जागा है नाम नहीं
Yes,
पता
sir, सब सब सुन रहे हैं सर, सब सुन रहे हैं.
ठीक है
हाँ.
perfect okay
Yes,
so I'll give you
we are
one more
listening, sir.
I'll give you one more very interesting example. There is a startup, and this is a genuine startup. Even the first one was genuine. I've just hidden the name. So this one is a startup called iRail Farms. ठीक है, आप लोग पंजाब से हो, and I'm sure you understand farming because Punjab is our chief agrarian state. So you know today there is a huge amount of interest in organic vegetables and fruit. Correct? Because people say, "यार, we are sick of eating pesticides, chemical fertilizers. We don't want to eat that. हमको सिर्फ natural, organic चाहिए." Okay, and there's a huge interest, and people are willing to pay a premium. They're willing to pay 30-40% extra for organic stuff. So there is a very interesting startup based in Gurgaon. It is called iRail Farms, IRIL Farms, right? And you can check it up on the internet. They have a brand called iRail Fresh. Now the point is, you know, growing organic stuff is not easy because there are many constraints. One biggest constraint is that the farms around you also have to be organic. Otherwise, you know, the fertilizer and the pesticides which has gone into that soil can seep into your soil, right? So even though you are using pure organic technique, you are not using pesticides. You're still getting it from the neighboring field. So typically organic works only where you have a large enough area where everybody or most people are doing organic farming, correct? So that's an understanding. What these guys realized was Himachal mein, right? You guys are close. So in the belt between Solan and Shimla, right? There is a very large belt where many farmers are growing organic products. So they said, okay, we will get our produce from there. We'll bring it to Gurgaon through trucks or tempos or whatever. And here we will sort it out, clean it, package it, brand it, and then give it to the retailer, and then people can buy this under the iRail Fresh brand. बहुत बढ़िया, good business. अब क्या हुआ? आप सबको पता है मार्च 25th को क्या हुआ, right? March 25th को दो important चीजें हुई थी. First important thing, what happened this year? COVID, lockdown. Okay. Second important thing which happened was my granddaughter was born on the first day of the lockdown. But anyway, let's keep that aside. So lockdown हो गया, 2 महीने के लिए lockdown चला, right? Now look at the problem. Here is two founders. There were two founders. Here is a problem where the market is willing to take your produce, but trucks from Himachal are not able to come into Haryana and Delhi. आपकी पूरी सप्लाई चेन डिसरप्ट हो गई, करेक्ट? और सप्लाई चेन जब डिसरप्ट हो गई तो आपके पास प्रोड्यूस ही नहीं है, बेचोगे क्या, करेक्ट? तो उनका धंधा बिल्कुल चौपट हो गया. So now here is where you know the strength, the capability of the leader comes in, the founder. You have two kinds of founders. One is a guy who sits back and says, अरे बॉस मैं तो मर गया, क्या करूं, चलो नेटफ्लिक्स देते हैं, जब वैक्सीन आएगी उसके बाद देखी जाएगी, या जब लॉकडाउन खुलेगा, right? And there's another guy who says, नहीं, I'm going to fight. So this guy, these two guys, they were fighters. They said, no, we're going to fight. And I'll tell you what they did. After the lockdown happened, you know, even the mandis in Haryana and Delhi, even they were more or less closed. Because COVID ka dar tha, lockdown tha, nobody knew the rules. So even the regular vegetables, right, not the organic ones, the fertilizer wala, the pesticide wala, वो भी नहीं मिल रही थी, और जो मिल रही थी बहुत महंगी मिल रही थी. So what they did was they said, okay, हमारे ये retailers हैं, हम ऐसा करेंगे, the local farmer around Gurgaon, Manesar, etc., he is not able to reach the mandi, and neither is the retailer able to reach the mandi. Anyway, mandi mostly band hai. So what we will do is we will pick up normal vegetables, not organic, normal pesticide wala, fertilizer, normal wala, and pick it up from the farmer and give it directly to the retailer. But very important, not under the iRail brand, because then you're fooling the customer, right? Because this is not, you know, this is not organic. So that was unbranded. But in the process, they actually were able to supply vegetables to these guys, the retailers, and their business grew Once the lockdown ended, the retailers realized, boss, ये बड़े reliable suppliers हैं, हम इन्हीं से लेंगे. Correct? So they're back to their organic thing and they're booming today. And I think the key issue here, the key message is these guys were fighters. And you know, TP, what I'll always say is, so by the way, in today's environment, now that we have seen COVID, we guys as investors always look at the COVID period of a startup. कि भाई इस टाइम में आपने क्या किया? अगर आप पीछे बैठे रहे कि जी ठीक है लॉकडाउन के लिए वेट करेंगे, वैक्सीन के लिए वेट करेंगे, we don't want to invest in you. But if you fought, if you survived, if you potentially grew, maybe you pivoted your business, you're the right kind of guy we want to invest. So, you know, you're absolutely right. The team, the founder is by far the most important thing.
Maybe just to add a comment on this particular group of boys, they use this time to create their brand and goodwill, which is going to sustain them in the future, because now people understand that they are a group of people who can be trusted to deliver.
Correct. Absolutely.
So in your startup journey, as you mentioned before, this becomes being persistent and maybe consistent also, Dhruv.
Bilkul, absolutely, absolutely, boss. So TP, you also get a chocolate. उसी अपने कार्टन में से एक निकाल लो.
मैं तो दो लूंगा.
चल दो ले लो यार, दो ले लो. उमर के लिहाज कर रहा हूँ, दो ले लो.
ठीक है. Okay, so I think the final session that we could.
Sir, I think there is a question in the chat box. Mr. Roshan is asking that is there a magical word, you know, a keyword, something like that, which can be used in the presentation to an investor, which may help convince them?
No, there is no one word. There is no one word. I just want to tell you a couple of important things. There is no one magic word. But I think the one thing, see, persistent obviously is there, right? That you have to do. The one thing we look forward to in a founder, probably the most important thing is passion. Because if you have passion, then you will also be persistent. रास्ते में roadblocks आएंगे, you will still go ahead, right? If you have passion, you will understand the business well. You will understand the business in detail. If you have passion in the business, in that business, right? Passion in that business, then you are likely to continue for a long, long time. Because remember, a startup is not, मैंने आज शुरू किया 2 साल में बेच के भाग जाऊंगा, correct? So I think the one thing which people look for is passion. Of course, persistent is there. There is no one single magic word. I mean, everything is important. Your business model is important. How you handle competition is important. One more important thing. Never try and fool the investor. Never. If you don't have the answer, be honest कि मुझे नहीं पता है. Investors appreciate honesty. See, they realize that you don't have all the answers. कोई बात नहीं. Don't try and fool them. कि भी मैं, you know, you say something. Please remember, when you're talking to investors, you will normally be addressing about 30, 40, 50, 100 investors at a time. उसमें से कुछ लोग होंगे जो आप ही के एरिया में एक्सपर्ट हैं. If you try and fool them, they'll catch you. And that is the end of your pitch. So never try and fool them. Be honest. Be transparent.
Sure, sir.
One of the questions that I noticed, Dhruv, is there's a youngster, Roshan, and he has asked a question about how important is the age of the founder. You told me I'm out of it, so but.
Okay, so ideally we look at founders who. So first of all, ideally we look at not one but between 2 and 3 founders, and there are multiple reasons for that, but which I can get into separately. Age. Usually we look at founders who are between about 25 and 50, okay? Which means you have some experience, preferably in the same field, some level of maturity, very important, but you're not too old. Because, you know, if you're too old, for example, founders above 60, 55, 60, find it tough to get funding for the simple reason that people say, you don't know how long you will continue to be active. And, you know, running a business is a full-time 24/7 job, right? So that is number one. Number two, one doesn't know how much energy levels you will have. Now, I do know that there are some founders like TP, my friend TP, he is active 24/7. Okay. But in general, people who are older, above a certain age, above 50, 55 types, find it tough because people, the investor says, I have so many opportunities anyway. Why should I invest in a guy who's 55, 60? Okay. So that is number one. Students who are currently in college, generally it is tougher unless you have a proven startup. And I know of some very, very good startups which have got good funding and they are still in college. I mean, IIT Delhi, I know there is a very interesting company which is called Sanfe. And these guys, when they started this company, they were in their second year. Class nahi attend karte the. I don't know how the hell they got attendance, but they will get their degree. They still haven't got it. So they're in the fourth year. But it's a great one. But generally, we look for people who have some experience, some maturity. So 25 to 50 is the ideal range. But there is no hard and fast rule. I mean, a good guy who was 22 years old can get funding, not a problem.
There's another question from Yashwardhan. To be more specific, let's say I have the team of Idea Plus Research, but the product is not ready yet. Or if it's ready, then I have zero revenue and I need some funds to launch the product and grow revenue. How do investors see this scenario?
Okay. Slightly complex question. Well, question is simple, answer is a little complex. See, I'm talking about the Indian environment. About 6 to 7 years ago, that was the time that startups were booming, absolutely booming, right? Even today they are booming. So you've got, Byju's, you've got Ola Cabs, you've got Grofers, all these unicorns which are valued at more than $1 billion, $10 billion, and so on. So lots of people were keen to become angel investors and invest in these startups. And this was about 6-7 years back. So at that time, people would invest in bright ideas with some level of product development. A lot of these businesses never took off. So, or they took off, then they died. And therefore, angel investors in the first few years of the Indian environment actually lost a lot of money. Then, of course, COVID happened, right? Where again, some startups just died. So today, angel investors have become more cautious. So what angel investors today say is, show me proof, which means show me some customers coming in. You may not have revenues coming in, by the way, as long as you have customers coming in, and those customers are what I call sticky, which means they are likely to stay on, they are not likely to lose you. And tomorrow you have a model where you can start earning from them, which is like Squirrel. So Squirrel initially had customers who were not paying, but he knew that ultimately they would start paying for the other products, right? So that kind of thing gets funding. In fact, Squirrel had got something like 7 crores of funding. Okay. However, if you don't even have customers coming in and you only have a prototype in development, or maybe a prototype which has been developed, then in many cases, in most cases, you'll find it tough to get funding from investors. There are 2-3 options. Option one, and I'll give you one little example. There was one very interesting startup which came up about 2 years back, right? This was a Bangalore-based startup, and it was based on the area of augmented reality. And I'm assuming you guys understand what augmented reality is, right? It's a mixture of reality and virtual reality, right? It's a mixture. So they had a product, and look at the use case. Look at where this product can be used. If you look at a director of a film, right? He has a lot of props on the set. Okay, so he'll have table, he'll have chairs, he'll have furniture, he'll have cupboards, he'll have a curtain, etc., etc., etc. Right? And then he'll have actors over there. Correct? Now he's directing a scene, and suddenly he feels कि नहीं यार ये curtain ठीक नहीं लग रहा है. इसको पूरा हटाना है. या ये ठीक नहीं लग रहा, हमको curtain लगाना है यहाँ पे. Okay. Or this cupboard is too huge. It has to be much smaller. अब प्रॉब्लम ये है, अगर उसको much smaller करना है, either you have to have another smaller cupboard, remove this, bring that back, it'll take time, or maybe it has to be constructed, right? Similarly, table may be he wants a very different table. नहीं मुझे rectangular नहीं, मुझे गोल चाहिए. Okay, the problem is any changes in the scene requires a lot of time and effort, and therefore one reason for movies taking so much time to shoot is this. What this guy did was he said all the props, all the furniture, the curtain, etc., is purely virtual reality, और वो director की screen पे आ रहा है. But since it is augmented, actors भी screen पे आ रहे हैं. Now he can actually see, अच्छा ठीक है, ये actor है, actress है, ये sidees हैं, and you know this cupboard is no, it's looking too high. Lower karo, it's a matter of 10 seconds. I give a command and it comes down by 10 seconds. So suddenly the job of the director and therefore the cost to the producer of producing a movie dramatically improves. Okay. Now we saw this as a very, very great opportunity. He hadn't got revenue so far, but he had got he had signed up with, you know, Shah Rukh Khan ki company, Red Chillies, Shah Rukh Khan and I think Juhi Chawla, right? So he had a contract with these guys where so far he had not got revenue, but they were willing to use his prototype. And looking at the fact that this is a unique thing and it has a very strong entry barrier and the size of the market is very large, right? We were more than willing to invest in it. Finally, we didn't for a different reason, but this guy had got a very large amount of investment commitments from our members. So, you know, if you have something which is in new technology, for example, in blockchain, for example, in VR or AR, for example, in machine learning, you know, suppose today health tech is a very, very important thing. And if you have a new technology in health tech, right, which transforms the way doctors do their surgery or transforms the way, you know, in the rural environment, healthcare is done, and investors see the opportunity, they'll be willing to invest in it, even though you don't have revenues. But that's only where you have these, you know, these breakthrough kind of products. If you have a routine thing, for example, you have a routine, you know, let's say routine e-commerce site, भाई 50 लोग बेच रहे हैं, मैं भी बेच रहा हूँ, उसके लिए नहीं मिलेगा, because लोग कहेंगे यार prove करो that you are better than those guys, right? So you have to have something which is disruptive, something breaks. In that case, yes, you will be able to get funding, not a problem.
Okay, so that really does explain a lot of things. Now, I think from what I see is that there are going to be lots and lots of questions, and we won't have enough time. And let's, how about treating today's session as an introductory session, Dhruv? Yeah, and okay, so we're probably running out of time today. So for today's session, I think just to summarize a couple of very important takeaways is that we've learned the importance of the founding team. We've learned in detail, in fair amount of detail, the persistent model, why startups need to be persistent and consistent. Don't give up. That's the message that Dhruv has given. There are a lot of questions that are still unanswered, but because of lack of time, we have not been able to take them up. So what I'm going to do is request the ECEL team to encourage students to send the questions to them. You can compile them. And after a certain amount of time, we'll get hold of Professor Dhruv again. We'll send him the list of questions. He can come better prepared. Then it's no longer extempore. And we'll have more knowledge to gain from his experience working with startups. So thanks, Dhruv. Thank you very much. And
So,
Jitendra,
by the
over
way,
to you. Yeah.
by the way, most of the many of the questions which you asked, you'll probably find in the book somewhere in case you want to pick it up. Because it specifically talks about such questions. Yeah.
Okay, Dhruv, maybe what you could do is tell us where to buy that book from.
Amazon, I'll send you the link. In fact, I'll put the link on the same email.
Okay, Ishan, you'll probably get that email link so you can share it with people. So it's going to be right. So I think I'll hand you over back to Ishan or Jitendra, whoever is going to be.
Both are available. Both are available.
Both are available. So boys, over to you.
Yeah. So I think that Mr. Tejinder has very well summarized the session in his words. And we are very thankful to Mr. Dhuvnath for this very, very insightful session. We gained a lot from this session. And I also thanks Mr. G.K. Sharma sir, Dr. Sani sir, and Tejinder Jasal sir, along with all the attendees who has attended this webinar. So thank you all very much.